Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to be working on another Hack the Box lab here. This one's titled Omni, so just bear with me and we will get started. And as you see, we've already started up the VPN on this. I'm not going to go to the Hack the Box website, only due to the fact that I already know the IP address that this machine's running on. Um, so we will just go right into this. First, we'll send out a ping to make sure it is up and running. And as you see, it is pinging back to us. So what we want to do is see what ports are open on this machine and go from there. So we'll do that with a simple in-map scan. And as you see, I've already done this scan once before. Um, I do tend to save a text file of this from time to time, um, which means I'll be cleaning this up after this is done. Okay, that didn't take that long. It only took about 16 seconds. As you see, we have two ports here that are open. One is 135, which is a Microsoft remote procedural call port. And then the other one is a port 8080. Usually this is used as a proxy server. In this case, it's being used for UPnP. Something interesting of note is right here. This is running what looks like to be Windows Device Portal. So let's see what that is. As you can see, I've already done a little research on this. Basically, this is what Windows Device Portal is. It's basically just a web server included with the Windows devices that lets you configure and manage settings for the device over a network or USB connection. Local connections are also supported on this. So to me, this sounds like it could be an IoT type thing. So if we go back and we check for vulnerabilities, we see that there's been a few things out here on this. And this looks like what we're going to use. So let's take a quick look at this. And as you see, it is a Windows IoT Core Smart Devices. And there is an interesting note in here. No, this is not the article I wanted. This is the one. There is an interesting little note down at the bottom here that Microsoft reports that it's an optional feature. Some people may have it turned on, some may not. So let's take a look for some more information on this. If we take a look around, we can find that there is a default username and password. So let's give that a quick try real quick. Yes, some people do not change their defaults, and that is bad karma or bad juju. Take your pick. And as you see, the password does not work for us. So what that tells me is that they did change the default password this time around. Like I said, it's not always something that happens. So let's do this. What you'll want to do is you're going to need a few things to be able to complete this. One, you're going to want to come to GitHub and get the Python code. You could call this SIRP rat. Usually the rat on this kind of things means remote access Trojan. I've already got all that I'm not going to go into how to install this. If you do a little reading, you can find out how to install it and how to use it, upload it, all kinds of stuff. As you see, I've already got everything laid out here for myself and for you. So we're just going to go right on into this. First things first, I need to go and start up a web server on my machine here. And that'll be done with this command here. And we're going to host that on port 80. And in our terminal window, do double check what your IP address is. In this case, I am still running on this IP address here under tunnel 0, which is good news for myself. And I'm also going to go ahead and set up my netcat listener real quick. I'm going to do that one on port 123, and this one will be on a different one as well. There's a reason I'm setting these two up real quick. I will go into, you'll see why here in a moment, but we'll go ahead and run this command here on line number 4. And as you see, in fact, I need to be in the right folder for that before we can even do that. You do need to be in the folder that this Python script is in for it to run. And as you see, it is running now. And you should see that there was a file transfer, which there was. You do want to rename your netcat listener, or not your netcat listener, but your netcat script to something else, because this machine may be running Windows Defender, which netcat or nc64.exe could come up as a pup or potentially unwanted program, or even as a virus. You do not want that to happen. So now we go ahead and we start a netcat listener. And as you see, is listening for any communication coming in over port 123. So that's what this script here is going to be that we're going to run. Basically, this is telling the machine that we're attacking to run this netcat labeled as screwed.exe over a PowerShell connection and to output it back to my machine. And as you see, we are connected. From here, if you do env username, you'll see that you're running as the user Omni. And from that point, you'll want to see what drives or shares are available. And we do that with that command there. And as you can see, it did scroll. So let's change this, tidy it up. We have drive C, drive D, and drive U. If we do a change directory back to root, that brings us back to C. Let's take a look at drive U. If we list it out, we have some interesting stuff here. We have a crash, dump log files, programs, shared data, system data, test, users, Windows, first boot, .complete. If we take a look in users, we have app and administrator. So we're going to be looking for that administrator password and apps password as well. But if you try to go ahead and cat out the user.txt file for flag, you'll find that it is encrypted. So we got to figure out how to decrypt that. So now if we go back to our C drive and we do an ls, we have a few interesting files here. Your best bet, you might find something of interest in programs or program files. We're just going to skip right to program files, and you'll want to put that in quotes as there is a space in it. And we have a Windows PowerShell. Generally under Windows and program files, you would have more than just Windows PowerShell. So let's continue on. And then we have modules. Now we have JSON.NET, package management, Pester, and PowerShell Get. All of these are directories. You can tell that by this identifier here, which is just a D. It's the same up here, and so forth. So let's take a look at package management. Usually there's interesting stuff in there. And as you see, there is a directory. So we get a lot of information here, but this is mostly stuff for PowerShell to run. You got directories, you've got dynamic link library files, tons of dynamic link library files, XML files. Nothing seems to really stand out. So if we go back a directory to package management, let's see if there's anything hidden. We'll do that with the ls tac force. And look at that, we have a bat file. And as you see, it is hidden. So if we cat this out, looks like we got net user, which is a username. Not a username, but this is identifying usernames. You have app and administrator, and these look like they could be passwords. So let's see what we get here. Let's bring our Firefox back up, and let's go to that device portal login and try these passwords. First one I'm going to try is app. And look at that, we got in. So this is basically your Windows device portal management console here. There's an interesting thing here: processes, details, performance, and run command. Really wouldn't want run command running somewhere, right? But that's why we have this our netcat listener here in this terminal window running here in a second, because we're going to need this to connect back in. We're going to do that with this command here. I'm going to copy that in over to here. And as you see, there's a run button over here. As soon as we do that, we got our PowerShell. So again, if we check and see what our username is, we see it, we are running as app. So now we're going to go and try and get the user flag, which I'm not going to cat that out so you won't see it, but this is how you would do it. Thinking about it, actually, it probably wouldn't hurt to go ahead and do that, as this machine is retired. And I wish tab and autocomplete would work this way, but it does not. So everything here has to be copied, pasted in, or typed out manually. Currently, I'm just typing it out manually. I don't know why. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And as you see, there's the user flag. That's what was decrypted out of that encrypted file that we showed up here. Now to get the root flag, you're going to have to exit out of that and close out Firefox. And go back to that device portal page. And we're going to use the administrator account now. And as you can see, I probably mistyped administrator. Again, you're going to run this command. Make sure your netcat listener is running. And we are connected back again. Now, difference is if I do this, you will see we are the administrator. I'll go ahead and copy and just paste this stuff in. We have the root file loaded in and ready. And now you got the root flag. As you see, this was actually very simple to do and didn't take that much time at all. Again, as usual, please do not use anything you've learned or viewed here nefariously. I will not be held responsible or accountable for your actions. What you view here is just for learning purposes. Thank you all, and you all have a good night and happy hacking.